Welcome, everybody, to the BKBK Podcast, where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme.
Yep.
Congratulations. We made it to, 2019.
Thank God.
Everybody's all right. Everybody's in good health. Let's check on Kerry's health. He's all right. Yeah, he looks like he's 2019 ready.
Yeah.
Let's check out my man B real quick. Whoop.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. And now let's check out the kid. A little chubbier, but still very, very good looking, and I'm ready.
No Christmas turkey?
Yeah.
You said too many berries on that one.
I said
Cut it out.
Regardless, everybody, our loving, listening audience, congratulations. It's the new year. It's Team BKBK's first broadcast of 2019,
That's
and
right.
what a year it's going to be for the New York Jets.
It better be.
That's right. Starting with the offseason, where the Jets will have about $106 million in cap space, the number 3 pick in the draft, and we're going to have to embark on an in-depth search, which we already are, or we already have embarked on, an in-depth search for the head coaching vacancy due to the firing of Todd Bowles. So, you know what? Without further ado, let's jump right into it. Head coaching, we're going to talk about first, head coaching vacancy. So where do we go from here, guys? I mean, a decision must be made first. The Jets must do their due diligence in their search. Who should they look at or consider, and why? Pourquoi?
Pourquoi?
Yeah.
Pourquoi? You want to hop in first, or you want me to go?
You can
Go get it.
first.
Go get that.
All right. So, my number one preference is Mike McCarthy.
Pourquoi?
Pourquoi? Because of NFL experience,
For everybody, that's Japanese for how come? So I can play.
or so what?
Well, you dumb.
That's right. That's right.
All right, stop laughing so
Anyway,
hard. Stop
Yeah.
laughing
So,
hard.
so yeah, Mike McCarthy, because of the experience. He's worked on the offensive side of the ball. He's worked with Aaron Rodgers. He's been to the playoffs. He's won a Super Bowl, so he's done it. My second choice would probably be an Eric Bieniemy.
Ooh.
Going a little bit left with that.
Mhm.
From what
Before you move on to
Sure.
the enemy, let's unpack McCarthy a little bit.
all right, let's unpack it.
Because you said McCarthy, and you stated it, and then you were kind of quick to move on. I know you like him, and I think we probably all like him, but he's not the sexiest pick, is he?
I mean, for me, he's pretty sexy. You know what I'm saying? A little lingerie-ish, you know.
Wow.
As far as the pick is concerned, I mean,
Okay.
as far as the selection, not him personally, obviously, right? We're not talking that.
Moving
But
on.
Moving on. So so as far as he himself, I mean, listen, we went through Todd Bowles. We've had coordinators after coordinators, people without any NFL head coaching experience. I don't know, it was the last 5 or 6 head coaches. That's been our repertoire and what we've been able to what we've done. And we need somebody that has a pedigree, somebody that people will listen to because they've been there and done that. And listen, I have a ring, you don't. I mean, there is something to be said about that. So, plus again, offensive side of the ball, he checks all the boxes that I would want a head coach of the New York Jets in 2019 to check. That's my opinion.
The issue that I would have with him is that their offense was stagnant this last year, which is part of the reason why he was let go. What I do like about him is his pedigree with regard to running an organization. We have had a consistently the last several coaches that we've had have not been good in-game tacticians.
Right.
And that has to change. And that's been a glaring issue, for me at least, throughout the last 3 head coaches that we've had.
Mhm.
And I want somebody who can run an organization. And if Mike McCarthy is chosen as a coach, that's going to be my expectation. I would want him to hire an offensive coordinator, a young offensive coordinator that's innovative, like a Kingsbury, like a Bieniemy. I don't think Bieniemy is calling plays. I think that was pointed out.
He's not, no.
He's not calling plays. So that could be a situation where he would get a promotion if he were to come here.
Just to argue a little devil's advocate point of view, I believe the last 2 coordinators that came on that ended up being head coaches under the Andy Reid tree, which is what I need to specify.
Yep.
Neither one of those two, like Nagy and the guy,
and the Philadelphia coach, as well. Neither one of them called plays, and obviously one won the Super Bowl and one is doing pretty darn well right now. They're both in the playoffs.
Right, but my issue is I understand that, and I wouldn't have a problem with him coming in as a head coach because we're talking about Bieniemy.
Sure,
right?
Sure.
But the issue is that I don't know if we're the organization that's going to employ another first-year head coach.
Right, I know what you mean.
That's the issue that I would have.
I listen. I don't. That's why he wasn't my first choice per se.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But out of the folks that don't have the experience, from what I understand, coming from Kansas City, working with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, all of those other things lead me to say if I'm going to take a chance on another one right now, that would be the guy. And the reason why I would say he's got to be part of the list is because we're not the 7 other teams are looking for a head coach right now. And to be honest, I don't think we're the number one situation out there.
No,
I think
we're not.
I think Green Bay is probably one.
Especially with the GM already in place.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a number of things. I think Aaron Rodgers, do you want to coach that guy? Because you're closer to probably winning a championship with a franchise quarterback already in place that has the experience and that has done it and been there.
Whoever's going to go there is going to have to defer to Aaron Rodgers because he's the new sheriff in town.
That's the issue. Or you're going to have
and
to
that was
hire
the issue
a
as far as
a head coach that will get Aaron Rodgers to buy into whatever program that he wants.
That's more important.
That's not an Adam Gase. That's not an Adam Gase.
No. Well, I think Bieniemy, if he ends up going there, might work out well too. Because because they can mold each other and work together and stuff, and not be assuming on either side. So maybe that might work out too. But that's where I'm at with Cleveland probably being the number 2 destination in my opinion. With Baker
Mayfield. Number 1?
Green Bay.
I think
for Bieniemy or in general.
I think Cleveland might be a better opportunity than even a Green Bay is.
Are you saying in general for head coaching? For head coaches, period, or specifically for Bieniemy?
I'm specifically saying for head coaches right now.
I wouldn't say that. I mean, well, understand Green Bay. Look how long Mike McCarthy was there. Holmgren prior to that. Look how long he was there. You're talking about the 10 years. You're talking about Green Bay. You're talking about an organization that is steady and that doesn't go by the whim. It's like the Pittsburgh Steelers or like a New England Patriots. The coach comes in, he's gonna be there a while. Cleveland. I mean, they look good now, but you're talking about a 500 ball club. Yeah. So when you look at the history of that team, you consider that all together, and you got Aaron Rodgers, which is a better quarterback than obviously the other two who were coming off rookie years. I think that's the better situation.
I would say that I know that the Cleveland Browns organization. I think that they've stabilized now because look at their GM. Their GM is he's a renowned GM now, way better than the ones that they had before.
Yeah, Dorsey.
Dorsey, and he offers that stability. So maybe once they settle in, maybe people can feel comfortable about the stability. But I do agree with you. You have clubs like Pittsburgh. I mean, Tomlin has been the coach for the past 12 years, and they've only had 3 coaches since like
their entire
since like the 1960s, 70s. 3 coaches, and that's fantastic. It's been Tomlin, it's been Cowher, and then before that it was Chuck Noll, and that's been really it, And so that's great if you want to be a coach and have that stability. And then you look at Green Bay. McCarthy has been there quite a long time as well, and then was just now released.
Sure.
So if you're a coach, and if I'm a coach, I know that I want to go somewhere where I'll be stable, and then I can implement my game plan without feeling like hot breath over the back of my shoulder, like I'm going to get, or be on the chopping blocks. I want to be able to implement my game plan and have a short-term goal and also long-term goal.
Sure.
And same thing with Belichick, too. Belichick has been there a long time, but he's Belichick.
I mean, yeah. Belichick, Brady, the B&B.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better than that right now.
That B&B cognac is not bad either,
right.
though.
So, I funny.
You have a third one?
So do I have a third one? I actually don't have necessarily a third one that I'm overly that really piques me. I mean, what are you talking about? Adam Gase? No
way.
Caldwell is he's lukewarm.
Nope.
In my opinion, I mean, talk about it.
I do. ranking, it would for me it would be who we just mentioned.
So
We
McCarthy, Caldwell,
McCarthy,
Bieniemy.
and Bieniemy.
So it would be my ranking would be McCarthy, Bieniemy, and then Caldwell.
Okay.
And the reason that Bieniemy is over Caldwell is because of my trepidation about hiring another first-year head coach.
Mhm.
But what would maybe get me over that trepidation is if we would hire a defensive coordinator that has head coaching experience that could
Right.
sort of, calm the locker room in times when maybe the enemy is a little bit inexperienced, in terms of what it takes to run a locker room.
And I think it was the text from you. I think you were saying that Caldwell has never had issues like locker room issues,
no, never had locker
which is
room
a great
issues.
thing. And I've
Yeah.
talked about this our entire time about just basically like not wanting players or wanting players, basically as a direct result of the locker room culture. And if there's going to be somebody that's going to ruin that culture, I want them gone because it's so incredibly important. So I don't want Caldwell, but I have to, agree with you in that sense as far as like, okay, he'll make me pause and rethink because this guy will procure a good locker room.
Right, and the other thing about it is that what you want in a head coach is someone is a calming force, is someone who is willing to put their philosophy out there and is able to sort of attract offensive and defensive coordinators,
Yeah.
to build his team. So my issue with maybe again an Eric Bieniemy is how's he going to put together a staff? You know what I mean? That's going to be something. He doesn't have the track record to go to whoever to bring in. He's going to have to,
Well, he's
ask
been in
for
the
us-
league
he's
a
gonna-
long time.
He has,
Yeah.
but I mean,
It's a-
but again, Caldwell has been in the league for a significantly longer period of time.
He's also 63, not to have an ageism
I
type of
understand
viewpoint
that.
on
I
it.
understand.
So
I
64.
Look,
64?
how
Okay,
old?
yeah.
How old was the Giants coach? When they won the Super Bowl
I mean, so understandable.
twice.
But at that point in time, well, I can't
You
even
know what
say
I'm
at
saying? I
that point in time.
Again, it's a manager of men.
Coughlin was,
Coughlin is a manager of men.
I'm not
Really,
worried
that's
about
what the head coach is.
being able to put together a staff. When Rex Ryan came in, he came in as a defensive coordinator.
Sure.
Never having head coached the team before and was able to put together a good staff. Look at Sean Payton. He had never
Right, but
head coached.
but again, with him,
Mhm.
he has an entire family to draw from. You know what I'm saying? In terms of those contacts, and I'm not saying that he was unique in any way.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that Bieniemy is just new. He's new to this.
Yeah, and this is
Right.
his first year as the OC as well. No,
You know
I
what I'm
get it,
saying?
fam.
You know, look, and again, I like the idea of hiring him. I just have trepidation because of the inexperience and maybe his lack of experience putting together a staff.
I'll tell you what, if we get a coach, right, and it's not Bieniemy, because usually they won't let you interview if it's just a lateral move.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes organizations will say, no, you can't interview this guy because we're not going to lose our offensive coordinator so that you can have an offensive
So you
coordinator.
can pay him more money to do the same thing.
Exactly. What I would do if this qualifies things, I would bring him over, ask him to be the offensive coordinator who can now call plays, and then give him the assistant head coaching position. If we were to, so now he's looking up more, and he'd be the coordinator that can call plays, and then the other coach, my favorite coach, who I want, is to bring in John Harbaugh, but I'll get to that when you're done, B. And then have Bieniemy be the offensive coordinator / assistant head coach.
Well, listen, talk about it. I mean, the only problem I have with John Harbaugh,
His
there were two.
availability. First of all, his availability.
Well, there were two. So availability and the fact that he's not an offensive-minded coach or an offensive coordinator. I understand he's the CEO and he does a darn good job at it. So
Yeah.
I do appreciate that piece of it. And even though you look at some of the Baltimore teams that he's kept competitive, you're like, how were they competitive at this point in time? But they're always tough. They always go out there to hit you in the mouth.
For real.
Defensive. And then he's adaptable. I liked it this year
Yeah.
that he was like, listen, I'm not going to beat my head in the wall, beat my head against the wall. I got Lamar here. and he's doing his thing, I'm just going to change my whole offense,
Yeah.
right? And let's tailor it towards what he does well. And look where they are right now. They're pretty dangerous.
Yeah, they're very dangerous going
Very.
into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I'd say the only thing that would keep them back is the rookie element, but also he keeps the rookie element kind of safe because he runs the quarterback so much as well. And it's a new season. It's a playoff season.
Sure.
So I'm playing this kid. If I were him, all right, oh, he might get hurt. He might. No, this is the playoffs. You got 3 games to go. I'm going to roll the dice on it. Yeah, I'm going to run you.
We're going to go all in.
We're going all in.
All in.
And you know what? If you get hurt, you got
Rub some dirt on it.
Rub some dirt on it, get back in the game, and you have the off season.
Oh, absolutely.
Exactly. You
To
know
get
what I'm
it
saying?
together. Yeah.
So, I mean, for me personally, as far as the head coaching vacancy, I want John Harbaugh. Now, you were saying that he may not be available, but I'm also hearing whispers that the reason why he still may leave regardless, maybe unless he wins a Super Bowl, is because Ozzie Newsome is leaving.
Yep.
Right? And also, the organization doesn't like the fact that Harbaugh is trying to have more control over personnel. They just want him to stay in his coaching lane.
All right. So, but you did read about the stuff with McCagnon, and that was the whole thing. They didn't want a coach that wanted to be involved in that aspect of the,
I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Okay.
And that may be the practicality of it or the real life situation. But in my fantasy land, I still want Harbaugh. Now, I'm not saying that, I want him to be the GM.
That's right. You want DeMarcus Lawrence too.
Sorry,
so John Harbaugh, DeMarcus Lawrence.
Right. all of these fantasy things.
All these things that are never going to happen.
Come on.
We got to be realistic.
We can talk about it all day.
Did you win the lotto last week or something that I didn't know about?
J.J. Watt's coming too. Let's go.
It wasn't out east, wasn't it? Greenport or something like that? Yeah,
no, but I did stay at it. No, I'm playing. No, but, listen. Who knows? Because our GM may be more enamored with the Super Bowl winning coach and may be able to concede some things. It's all about winning. That's how you keep jobs, man.
So what would you give up for him in draft capital? Because that definitely has to happen regardless.
Draft capital? What are you talking about? Draft capital?
He's not a free agent.
He's not.
He's under contract.
Right. But I'm saying but he may want to leave. That's what I'm saying, and they may let him go.
Okay.
But
they just announced that they were in negotiations for an extension.
Okay, in negotiations, it hasn't happened yet.
It hasn't.
Just like they were talking about, and they said that that Bowles wouldn't. He's our coach, and you know what? We knew that he was going to get fired.
That's smoking mirrors.
So
everybody knew that.
I'm just saying.
Everybody.
I'm not in the Baltimore organization, and there are whispers saying that he may make himself available. If he does make himself available, or if the Baltimore Ravens makes himself available, without having to trade any high draft picks, because I'm not for that. I don't want that to happen. I am heavily interested in him. I think he's a great coach. He's a great leader of men, and
he is.
And he knows who the people who to hire. He might be the one to hire Bieniemy as the OC and have him call plays.
Let me ask you this: if we're talking about these leader of men, because we use this as a theme.
Yes,
to a certain extent,
I love it.
Is he any better leader of men than Mike McCarthy?
I think he is.
Why?
How about
would you say that?
Why? Well, because I'll put it to you this way.
Or even Caldwell.
I think he's better than Caldwell as well. Yeah. I think if John Harbaugh had the Green Bay Packers, if he was coaching the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers, he'd have at least another Super Bowl ring around his finger.
What would make you say that?
I just think he's a better coach. I think he's a better coach. I think that he would have figured out the quarterback that he has and to get the right offensive coordinator in there to continue to put Aaron Rodgers in the right positions to win. And that people are talking about Aaron Rodgers being one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and he is. But I mean, they're talking about him in the same breath as Peyton Manning, in the same breath as Tom Brady, in the same breath as Joe Montana, who have won multiple rings. And it's like, hold on, this guy's only won one. And to me personally, he's clutch, but not clutch in the sense of winning that playoff game that's going to get him to the Super Bowl and to win one, And I think that Harbaugh, with the way that he is and the way that he coaches, and he's a really good game manager too. He beat his brother.
Yeah, he's a good manager. He's definitely a good manager.
And I think he would have put Aaron Rodgers more so than McCarthy in better situations. That's just my opinion. It's not really based on that much.
He does have the same amount of Super Bowl wins as McCarthy.
Yes, he does.
With a lesser quarterback.
Yes.
In a tough division.
Yeah. I love the guy. But, okay, let's just say we can't get him. You guys make good arguments and points.
Mhm.
And I'm not leaning on it saying that I think it's going to happen. I'm just saying if it
Wait,
does.
in the same division? No.
And what do you mean?
Baltimore and
Baltimore, Pittsburgh,
right.
Browns, and Cincinnati.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yep.
I'm thinking about Pittsburgh. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
You got it.
Mhm.
And I kept the camera on you just so that people can see you kind of brainstorming.
I think I'm gonna take the tablet next time.
Yeah, you go take the red pill.
Right. Take not the blue pill.
Not the blue. My second coach is Mike McCarthy. I do like him a lot.
Mhm.
I respect him a lot. There seems to be, the relationship just kind of waned after a while, and then to me, the offense just started to get a little bit unimaginative and a little bit kind of just plain. And who knows, maybe he just needed to just leave, and this is why he's gone. But I highly respect the guy, and I think that we would benefit wholly if we had McCarthy. And since he is definitely available, he's my number one choice at this moment in time.
Yeah, they needed to run the ball more, and they didn't until later on in the season and stuff. So that's
Right.
one of the things that he needs to answer for.
Yeah.
Just a FYI, Cliff Kingsbury looks like USC is denying anybody
Yeah, I
interviews
saw that.
for him.
I saw that.
So
That's
just
fine.
FYI.
That's
I didn't
fine.
want him anyway.
Yeah, that's totally cool with me.
OC though, let's take him as an OC.
I'll take
And
him as OC.
if I was Bieniemy, why would I take an offensive coordinator position when I'm up for a head coaching job right now? I can only get worse, right? Because if he goes out there and calls plays and doesn't do well, then he'll never get a head coaching position.
True.
So why not just stay where I'm at? I'm coaching Pat Mahomes, right? So if I don't end up getting a job, I'll just stay here.
True.
You know?
And I'm under the Andy Reid tree.
Oh, absolutely.
And one other thing, what tree has McCarthy produced?
Created, yeah.
I don't
Produced?
Yeah, Kyle can speak to that.
Yeah.
We could.
I just
Yeah, that was one of those things out there. I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, listen, Andy Reid doesn't have any rings, but I think he's a better coach than McCarthy. Would you guys agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but hey, listen, I'm going to give Andy Reid like a B+ as a coach. I think Andy Reid is more of an A, but it's what is available, and I'll take that B+ Andy McCarthy over what we have out there.
I would even take McCarthy with DiFilippo.
With DiFilippo as the offensive coordinator?
Right.
Yeah, me too.
I think that would excite me a bit.
Yeah.
And I understand the whole, Minnesota issue and everything.
Yeah.
But
If I had Harbaugh or McCarthy, I would take DiFilippo. If I had Bieniemy, I wouldn't want DiFilippo.
no,
You know what I mean?
I'm saying we would have to have. We
yes.
would need a head coach. I mean, a defensive coordinator or some type of, assistant on the staff that has head coaching experience.
Yeah, we need a vet.
But DiFilippo's on the offensive side of the ball, so why don't you think that would be a potential match? I guess is my question.
I'm basically talking about what Kerry was talking about as far as like just having a veteran head coach presence there, just to be able to oversee. So
But you can still do it on the defensive side of the ball, though.
Right.
You know what I mean?
He's saying DiFilippo is the offensive coordinator.
yeah,
Eric Bieniemy, calling the plays as a head coach,
yeah,
and some defensive coordinator that has experience.
and the thing
in
is,
head coaching.
and the reason why I'm saying that is because of one person.
I
Sam
take Rex
Darnold.
Ryan. I take Rex Ryan right now as a defensive coordinator.
He's not.
I would
He's
do
not going to
it.
be. He's coming in
I'm
as head
just saying.
coach. Yeah,
I'm
I would
just
take
saying.
him too.
I don't.
You
He
know
may
what?
not get another head coaching job right now. I'm saying I would do that. If
Miami
I'm
might
him.
be looking at
You
him.
know what? I'd take the Cleveland guy Williams that just got fired.
I don't want him.
I'd take him as a defensive. I would.
Oh, as a defensive coordinator. Okay.
Defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I might take him.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would take him.
Him.
I would take
Or
him.
I'd take Rex Ryan's brother.
Rob Ryan's not that good to me.
I
I think he's a little overrated.
I think he's overrated too.
I think
as
he's a little bit
defensive
overrated.
Yeah, probably, but I'd
I
still.
didn't like what he did in Dallas. I wasn't happy about Dallas.
And then the Saints too.
Yeah, Saints, he
I
wasn't that good.
The Saints defense looks clean.
Can I tell you who is a great defensive coordinator but not a great head coach? Oh man, I just forgot his name. Older guy, Wade Phillips.
Yeah.
Everywhere he goes, he creates a great defense.
Absolutely.
I would take him in a
Right,
minute.
because he's like, I'm doing a defense.
play for him,
Leave me
too.
alone.
I'd play for him too.
Right.
Wait. What was that, B?
I'd play for him too, like on his team. You know what I'm saying? It looks like it. Damn, you know what I'm
But
saying?
he's
Really?
that, but he is that personality that we
Yeah,
would
he
want.
like, you know,
Where I got the defense,
boisterous
leave
and-
me alone.
Yeah.
I got the defense, leave me
Leave me
alone.
alone.
You
Yeah.
need some help with something else? That's good, but I got the defense, leave me alone.
Yeah.
Get out of my way.
And the point that I wanted to make was, I said Sam Darnold is because you have a newer offensive coordinator, but with an offensive-minded head coach. That's why I wasn't really talking about the defense as far as that guy needs to be a former head coach of some sort. So, like, let's just say that we have, a newer offensive coordinator that's now our head coach. I would want that coordinator to be a veteran type of a person. I really want to just keep this like offensive minded because we have a quarterback that we really need to develop and to continue to develop and take the next step and the next leap to make our franchise a notable franchise and just a great one for the next, how many years, Kerry? 29?
Yeah, 32. We
Listen.
we haven't had a head coach that was offensive minded in. Was it
It's
Kotite?
Al Grower.
Kotite?
Al Bro, he was defense.
Kotite.
Kotite,
Yeah.
Kotite.
That is ridiculous.
I was
That
like-
is
I was like
ridiculous.
I was
Wait,
like,
hold
9.
on a second, man. Mancini, Herm Edwards, that's defense. Rex Ryan, defense. Bill Parcells, defense. Richie Kotite, yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
just
very
saying. I'm just let's put
There's
it.
a
out
lot of
there.
things wrong with the bodies that we have on the head coaching position for the
Yeah.
New York Jets. There's a
Right.
lot of things wrong with that.
We got bodies.
Yeah.
Bodies, man.
Yeah, we got
Bodies.
Defensive coordinators, first-time head coaches.
Yeah.
We don't have anybody on the offensive side. It's no wonder that
Yeah.
our offense has never looked really good.
So, what do you guys think of some of the college? Because the college coaches, there's some coaches that we thought were going to be available or were hoping were going to be available that are no longer available, like Lincoln Riley and other people like that. In our text, I was talking to all of you, and I like that guy Matt Rule. He brought Temple's program back and then moved to Baylor, and then did a great job with them, and they just won their last bowl game, last week as well. And Kyle, Captain Kyle McKenna, was
Yeah.
just talking to us about how good this guy is, and basically like a lot of the framework of how Kyle approached coaching at Brooklyn Tech came from Matt Rule, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know that.
Mhm.
So he's met him before, clinics and things like that. Captain Kyle's not with us today, but he sends his love and Happy New Year's to everyone out there. But I like this guy so far, and I want to see basically a little bit more and be able to examine him more. And I hope that the Jets, will really dig deep on him and consider him.
I'm not ready.
You're not ready
No.
for that?
Nah,
It's too
I'm
new
not
for you?
I don't think we can take a risk
Nah,
on a
man.
college
Nah.
a college coach.
What
right now.
what if it was Lincoln Riley?
Even if it was Lincoln Riley, I would have some trepidation.
I think
about
Lincoln
it.
Riley. I mean, more high profile. He's coached, some of these quarterbacks or whatever else that, that we would want for Sam Darnold to look like ultimately. And then you're talking about a Power 5 conference type of school, so the competition is a little bit different from what Matt Rule is going against every day. But all that being said, I just think that he's so far down, it would be like, who is this guy? And again, we're talking about Bieniemy not being able to put together a staff. Would he be able to put together a staff of NFL type of coaches?
I'd pick Bieniemy over Rule,
Oh yeah,
hands down.
yeah. I mean, nothing
Yeah.
against the guy. I don't even know much about him, so I can't
Right.
even. But he's
Yeah.
so far down in obscurity right now that I can't really even wrap my brain around trying to.
Well, then,
Bring him in.
what about Ja Rule? Would you? I'm sorry, corny dad joke. All right,
Did
so
I just yawn?
Corny
yeah,
dad.
you did.
Yeah, yeah.
he
Yawn.
did
The
just.
kids have no idea who Ja
It's
Rule is.
real. It's real. I got a tear coming down my eyes.
Is it the single teardrop? There's
Yeah,
that one.
single tear. drop.
Moving on.
Moving on. Sorry for the corny dad jokes,
Right.
guys. All right, so Kerry, did you go through your coaches that you want to?
Yeah, I said,
Alrighty.
Mike McCarthy, Bieniemy, and Caldwell.
All
Are
right.
close to be.
Cool. So then, hey, listen. So moving on from that, then. So we talked about the coaching, all right? So now we got to move on to the free agents.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. So, who are the top 3 players the Jets should pursue and pourquoi? Remember, that's Japanese for. All right, let me stop with these dumb jokes. You know what? Let me just hop right in there.
Hop it.
All right, cool. So, I don't have a top 3, but I have top 3 as far as positions that we need to address.
Top 12.
Yeah, I do. I have a lot of people.
27.
Yeah. So, top 3 positions that we need to address. First and foremost, for me personally, number 1, I think we need to address the O-line.
Okay, so you're talking about in free agency?
Free agency.
In free agency.
So,
Well, overall, but yes.
So let's discuss it into a.
Who's your top 3?
Who is your top 3?
You posed
if
the
you
question.
have an offensive lineman, then
Okay.
name the offensive lineman.
Okay.
That's in free agency.
All right. You know what? Let me correct myself. Free agency, it's a different beast than the draft. In the draft,
Right, that's what I'm saying.
yes,
So
yes.
let's talk about free agency,
Thank you
right.
for that. I appreciate that. In free agency, I want to focus on getting and looking at it realistically because there's no. If there was a really good wide receiver out there in free agency, that would be my top. But there's not. So now I'm going defense. I want a defensive end or an edge type person. And
They're good.
DeMarcus Lawrence is number 1 for me if he becomes available. But they're probably going to franchise him. If not him, I want Jadeveon Clowney. And hopefully he can come on over. If it's not him, I want D Ford. And I like D Ford a lot. And if not him, then I want Frank Clark, the defensive end over in Seattle. And all of these players that I just mentioned, none of them are over the age of 27 or 8. So we have young guys. We can give them a nice 4 to 5 year contract that can play at a high level for the next 4 or 5 years. And then, so that's the defensive end or / edge spot. That's the number 1 thing I want to address. Secondly, I want to address the O-line. And we had our center position being compromised this year, and we had to move him to guard. What's his name again? I forget his name. Our center that we got in free agency from Washington.
Long.
Yeah, Long.
Spencer Long.
Spencer Long.
And he did well at guard. I'd
Yeah.
like to see what his power, his Pro Football Focus was
For the guard
last,
position.
Right, for the guard position.
Yeah, because his center,
The last quarter of the season.
a terrible center. But there is a center. His name is Matt Paradis. He's the center for the Denver Broncos. And he is ranked the 2nd highest ranked center for the 2008 season before he got hurt in November. And he was ranked behind Jason Kelsey, who's Travis Kelsey's brother. And he's a center for the Philadelphia Eagle, and he's a Pro Bowl center. So I think I would love to go there. And then as far as wide receiver is concerned, that's my 3rd one. We don't have a good crop to pick from, but I do like that kid, Geronimo Allison. That's the guy that Aaron Rodgers was throwing to. He was more like their 3rd receiver, but he's big, strong, he can catch. And hopefully if he's on the Jets, he can kind of prove himself to be more of a high-end 2 because I don't think we're getting any ones, But, that's about it.
I'll jump in there.
Go ahead.
So I think I mentioned this on another podcast that we had earlier, but I would say this. So Le'Veon Bell, number 1. Right? So that's the guy I would go after. I know you're sucking your teeth over there. Suck it again.
Hold on. Let me give you the Jamaican one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, listen, Le'Veon Bell, again, I talk about it. He helps your young quarterback. He helps you in the running game, helps you in the passing game.
Yeah.
I think you need to bring him in. Golden Tate. I know he's a little bit older than most folks and players that we want to bring in, but he's excellent after the catch. He is somebody that's over the middle. You can throw the ball to him there or whatever. I think he would do well in that space.
Yeah, I like him. I like
Yeah.
Golden Tate.
Yeah, definitely. I think he would do good again for the young quarterback. You got D Ford.
Love D4.
Definitely like that. I like his stats are actually better than Jadeveon Clowney overall.
Mhm.
When you look at the stats and whatever that you got there, 2 of the last 3 years, he's had 13 sacks, and he has 10 sacks in 2016, down year in 17, but looks like he was hurt because he only had 15 tackles. So I don't know how many games he played in 17, but it doesn't look like that's a lot. And something that's a little under the radar that I'm going to put out there,
What's that?
trade for Snacks Harrison.
Snacks, big snacks, huh?
I would trade for Snacks Harrison.
What would you trade?
Bring him back. I mean, listen, they traded a 5th for him. Detroit traded a 5th.
I'll give him that fifth right back.
I give him a fifth right back. Bring
Yep.
him back in there, plug him right in the middle. That would right a wrong that we made years ago, which is just getting rid of him in the first place. I think he's a leader in that locker room. I think he would definitely open things up for Leonard Williams.
Yeah.
He would open things up for Anderson as well.
Anderson's a free agent too, so we need to re-sign that.
Got to
guy.
resign that guy.
Yeah.
You know, so don't want to overpay for him, but definitely want to resign that guy. And you also have to consider we don't know the defensive coordinator, so we don't know if we're going to run a 4-3 or 3-4.
That's
We
true.
don't even know if our personnel is correct for the coordinator we're going to bring in.
Yeah.
So that's really tough there too. So I guess we got to find that out. But Snacks Harrison, 3-4, 4-3 doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You throw him in the middle, and he will definitely impact your run game on the defensive side of the ball. So that would be my free agent pursuits.
So here's the thing. I'm going to talk about free agency, and I'm going to talk about the draft at the same time.
Go for it.
I waver back and forth on whether or not we should trade back, whether we should pick a defensive end
At number
edge
3?
rusher at 3, or reach
It's tough.
with an offensive lineman, because
Well,
it would be a reach at 3.
Well, what, so you have Jonah Williams. Now we're
Right.
we're leveraging and going into the draft. You have Jonah Williams there at 3.
I don't think Jonah's a
Why
reach.
is that a reach? I've seen him go
that
at
can
3.
be considered a reach. That can be
Pourquoi?
considered a reach at
Why?
3 because of the talent at edge that is there,
Okay.
right? That we could be picking up. So the issue is, how do we want to spend our money, right? How do we want to spend our money? And if there is if 9 of the 10 top free agents are defensive line / edge / outside linebacker rush, then do we really need to spend draft 3 as an edge rusher?
I
Do we
would
really need to do that?
I would vomit in my mouth if we picked an edge rusher.
I'm just telling you.
Unless
but again,
unless
Well,
it's like-
that would mean that we did not. That would mean that we did not address it in free agency, and
Well-
we have a lot of guys. I named 4 myself.
Even if we do, I mean,
well,
they're not superstars. I mean, these are.
but the top 3 are considered that. The
Top three what?
are considered the top 3 edge rushers in the draft are considered that.
Yeah.
They're getting Bosa,
Yeah.
the kid from Kentucky,
Yeah.
and
The guy from Clemson,
and
right?
the guy from Clemson,
Yeah.
and the defensive lineman from Houston.
He's like a John
who-
Randall type, though. He's an interior.
Right, but he
Yeah.
gets pressure
He
up the
does.
middle, and from a perspective of hurries and disruption.
I can't do another
That is
D
an issue.
lineman. I just
know,
can't.
I know it's not sexy.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Stop.
you mentioned sexy earlier. Right?
You're over
Right.
there trying to bring it back, Justin
Right,
Timberlake style.
but the issue
Sorry
is,
with the bad joke.
but the issue is, if I'm going to spend my money, then do I do it in free agency
Yes.
with 9 of the 10?
We have $106
Okay.
million.
Right, and that's what I'm leaning towards.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, then we got to trade back. And if we cannot find a trade partner, a la the Giants,
So then who?
a la Jacksonville,
I love
then
to trade with the Giants. I just have to say that.
Jacksonville,
I would love
Jacksonville,
to.
Jacksonville.
I mean, of
Okay.
course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. Yeah.
Again, we
Got
can
my attention.
drive up the price because the quarterback coming out of Ohio State,
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's shooting up.
and he is shooting up. And
Sure.
and the Giants are talking that I'm hearing rumblings that the Giants are talking about him.
Refresh,
and
refresh my
Jacksonville.
memory.
And
Where,
Jacksonville.
refresh my memory. Where does Jacksonville pick and where do the Giants pick?
They're right. They're like right next to each
It's
other.
like
I think
5 and
like
6 or something like that?
6 and
6
7?
and 7 or 6 and 8 or something like that. So
All
they're
right.
going to be competing. So my issue is,
Yeah.
I'm torn because we need an edge rusher.
Yes.
Okay, but the 2 individuals that were mentioned, Golden Tate and Le'Veon Bell, I want them in my building.
Copy
Right,
that.
I want them in my building.
Yep.
For selfish reasons, and that's because Darnold has to have impact players on offense, and those 2 guys are what would definitely change the course.
Let's listen.
for him.
If it's Nick Bosa, that's probably
We're not gonna get
no.
Nick
That's what I'm
Bosa.
saying. If for some reason, I mean, Jamal
Unless
Adams
this idiot
fell,
trades
Leonard
up.
Williams fell. So if he falls, I pick him.
Leonard Williams
if
fell
he-
for a reason.
that-
Now
well,
we're
that-
seeing.
Well, whatever, right? Some could say it's coaching too,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Yeah.
I would say this: that's the only scenario in my mind that I pick a defensive player at number 3. If
Mhm.
not, Jonah Williams, I give him consideration unless, again, the Giants or Jags want to give me the world for the number 3 pick. If they do, I trade back. The reason why I say you can still get an edge rusher when there are so many edge rushers. What I'm saying, if there's so many edge rushers in this draft and it's rich at that, then that means you can get it later because people are going to hit it at 1, 2, 5, 6, whatever it is. So you trade back, you pick Marquise Brown. Right?
I don't like
Yeah,
Marquise
You liked it.
Brown.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of
love
him
this
either.
kid.
You,
All right,
you
but,
love him.
yeah, but you
I
know,
mean, I
we're talking-
like him, but I'm not like in love with him. But go ahead.
Listen, I mean, I like him for the fact that, again, home run hitting wide receiver. We don't have anything like that. Well, you know, we have Robbie Anderson potentially there. But if you put Robbie on one side and you put Marquise Brown on the other, he's somebody that can hit the middle. He's somebody that can take it to the house. He can actually run routes more than just the go route that Robbie Anderson runs. So I think when you put those two, you put Golden Tate and you let Le'Veon Bell run in the middle. I mean, I think that that's a dynamic offense. That's why I say he needs to be the guy that we select there. You move back, you get second-round picks, and
That
then
we select where at 3?
We selected
three?
3.
no,
But he was
you
saying
move back. You move
Okay.
back.
Yeah.
You move back.
So
You don't select him at
We
3.
would
No,
select select them at 6.
I'd
If we
so-
traded with the Giants or Jacksonville, depending
Potentially.
upon where they were.
potentially because then you have other things going.
You
Watch this
I'm
guy
not-
move up in the draft.
I'm
I'm just
not
gonna tell you.
saying at 6. He's
Picking
he
who
is
at
not-
6?
Marquise Brown. I'll pick him at
No,
6.
No,
I'll pick him at 6.
No,
No, I'm not doing that.
Because if you
either.
wait, you're
I'll
not
pick
gonna,
an offensive lineman at 6 before I pick him.
So
I
would
mean, if Jonah Williams is there at 6, I pick him. If not, I'm not picking, the guy from Ole Miss or any of that kind of stuff. I don't think they grade that high at
he's
6.
like Treadwell, the guy from Ole Miss. He's like not. He's a big guy, but
the
he's not
offensive
that
lineman,
fast.
right? The old tackle.
No,
I'm not talking about wide receiver.
Oh, okay,
I'm talking about the
okay.
old tackle.
Okay. O tackle, I'm not sure.
There's an old tackle
Yeah.
coming out from Ole Miss.
From Ole Miss, I know you're talking
He
about.
grades number 10, somewhere in that range or whatever else. Me, in my opinion, or in number 6, if you got somebody who wants to trade up, I'd trade back again. And I trade back to like number 10 or number 11 and still take Marquise Brown.
That's my first option. I want to trade back. Like, I really like Jonah Williams, but like I'm not married to him, so I'm willing to trade back. I think that the value that we would get with $106 million, I want to get one edge guy and maybe a defensive end. So if we're able to get, all right, let's just say DeMarcus Lawrence. All right, B, come on, man. You know you're not getting him. Fine. But technically he's a free agent, okay? We know that they're going to franchise him. All right,
Sure.
bet. I would pick up Jadeveon Clowney or D Ford.
No, not or. We need 2.
I know, but I'm not done yet. Would you take
And
D?
we sign Anderson.
Hold up. We sign Anderson, right? That's going to be not a huge hit on the cap. What if we were to get D Ford, edge, and Frank Clark, defensive end?
I'm done.
You're scoring.
Right.
That's a score.
It
And we
depends.
re-sign Anderson.
And we re-sign Anderson. Anderson.
This is what I don't want to do. I don't want to spend $106 million on a Tremaine Johnson, right?
We never should have got him in the first place.
But this is what I'm saying. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we need to be judicious about.
But we overpaid because he was the best cornerback on the market at the time. That's different than what's going on right now. There's
Legit.
a bevy
Yes.
of defensive ends,
Mhm.
outside linebackers, edge rushers,
Right.
defensive tackles
Right.
that we can. Say,
And do you think we're the
we don't
only
have to
people?
overpay, but we don't.
You don't think
all
we're
the-
the only people that are going to
but-
be looking for these
yeah,
guys?
but my point is that we can't. All of them aren't going to get overpaid. The issue that the reason
Henry
that
Anderson's not going to get overpaid.
The
and
No,
we're
reason
no,
gonna
no,
bring him
not
back.
Henry Anderson. I
But
mean,
Henry
so-
Anderson's like 22 on
I'm
the
not
list.
talking about him, though. I'm talking about the Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah,
I
I'm
know,
talking about
I-
the
I-
D4s. I'm
people
talking about
that you
Frank
mentioned.
Clark.
I know.
People that
Those
you
are the people I'm talking about. We
Yeah.
try to pick up 2 of them.
Yeah.
Yes. and
2 of those guys, I think it's going to be expensive.
It is going to be expensive,
we
but I
need
mean,
it.
like we have
We need it.
$106 million, and we need it. We suck.
Right. It's either that, or we draft one of them, draft one of the guys at 3, or
So you draft somebody in the second round.
Trade back. Oh, I don't know.
And you draft somebody in the second round that and again,
that's an option.
I
yeah.
think our hesitation right now is that we don't trust McCagnon at the end of the day. So a
Yeah.
second round pick should be like, oh man, we can get somebody. And you're like, oh man, I don't know.
Well, we don't have a second round pick right now.
No. But if you trade back, I mean that's the
That's gotta
first
come with
conversation
it.
you
That's gotta
have.
come
So
with
you know what I mean?
So
you
then
start
B,
the conversation.
So
with
then,
that.
B, are you against, say, like the scenario that I put forth, D Ford and Frank Clark? All righty.
Depends on what Frank Clark is going to come for. D Ford, I would pay him rate.
Right.
Frank Clark, I would.
Frank Clark has had double-digit sacks 2 out of the last 3 years. He's only 26 years old.
Okay.
He was doing this thing over there in Seattle. Now, what I want optimally I could have used Jadeveon Clowney as an example
I
as
don't
well
want
or
him.
whatever. You don't want Clowney, huh?
I don't.
Pourquoi?
Because he hasn't hit double-digit sacks any of his years that he's been in the league. One.
Okay.
Number two, and you have J.J. Watt on the other side.
Right.
There's no excuse.
True.
So, right.
True.
So and number two, he gets injured, and
He
I
does.
think
that's the one thing.
He
And
was
I think
injured today.
yeah, and I think out of all three of these guys, he has the biggest name, so he's gonna get paid the most.
Yeah.
But he's not gonna produce as much as these other two guys. That's why.
So then, you know what? That's fair. You know what? That's such a fair point, B. So fine, let's just check him off the list, right?
Okay.
DeMarcus Lawrence, check him off the list because they're gonna franchise him, right?
Right.
So now next on my list here, I have D Ford and Frank Clark, just like what I had before. I don't think that either one of those guys will get paid more than the other guys that we mentioned before. We know they're going to be more expensive, but we have 106. Get those two, right? I personally do not want Le'Veon Bell. Throwing a little controversy out here into the wind. I'm going to do it. All right?
All right, I'm waiting.
Kareem Hunt. I'd pursue him. I'd pursue him. And you know what? He's going to be wild cheap. Wild cheap because of all the controversy. And then you know what? You get a friendly deal. If this kid acts up, you're out of here like Vladimir. You know? So now you have your edge.
Yo, you got to stop with the Vladimir first. You can't just run that through. And
That's an old
That's
80s
gotta stick
thing.
to
We
it.
used to say that back in the day.
Yeah. That's like 87, 88, right?
That's terrible.
Carey was in Morehouse at the time. You know, that's how old that was.
He
right?
was.
Oh, absolutely.
88 on Gates. Yeah,
Funny.
Yeah.
So listen, I think you got to see and let the legal process play itself out
Yeah.
first before you go there. But yeah, I mean, I
course.
put him on a list. I put
Yeah.
him on a list as somebody that you kick the tires on, and
Yeah.
and man, you kick the tires, you might actually get something.
That's not even
all
kicking
pro.
the tires because usually that's synonymous with like age or whatever. Usually kicking the tires, you know. But I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
Got to see if his head's right.
you got to
Yeah.
see if his head is right and cap friendly and team friendly deal. You know, kind of like, all right, Josh Gordon, we're gonna sign you, but if you act up, you're out of here, and it's of no consequence to us. I'm not, I'm just saying like
Funny.
something
and
like
if
that.
we hire Bieniemy, I mean, your man knows all about it too.
Oh, what a great point.
Yeah.
So now I just gave you D Ford and Frank Clark. These guys are good, but they're really good, but it's not like they have the name of Jadeveon Clowney, right? They don't have the name of DeMarcus Lawrence. So they could be in the realm of players that the Jets could get with that $106 million. Now, what if they do that? And what if they were to get Kareem Hunt? And what if they're able to trade back with the Giants or the Jacksonville Jaguars? That's a coup.
Cuckoo.
Yeah, it's a coup, or it's either a coup or it's cuckoo. It's cuckoo nuts, you know.
It's funny.
Boo.
What are
You
you
don't like it,
doing?
Boo.
What's the problem? What are you doing?
I don't want to go after Kareem Hunt.
I'm not
as
saying.
much as I would want that kind of player on my team.
Yeah,
I just think that we need to avoid controversy at all costs right now.
I hear you, but I'm just saying, like, I'm not gonna be pursuing him. Like, we gotta get him. If we don't get him, we don't get him. But I'm just saying, like, I put in a call to him. Hey, kid,
First of all, he's going to be suspended for the first 6 games anyway.
that's true.
So he's going
Yep.
to be, ability has nothing is more to do
Availability,
with
right?
availability.
That's true, and that dude may be desperate and act right or whatever, and then, you better sit down and act right. And in the meantime, we have McGuire and this kid Cannon or whoever else we may draft later on in the draft.
Cannon.
And listen, I'm just saying, like what Brian said, I would kick the tires on this kid, but I'm not like going in there like diving in head first. We gotta get him. Nah, no way.
Le'Veon Bell, man. You know what I mean?
I
You
don't
wrap it
want
up. He's going to be there week 1. Again, he has the stats there year
And
in,
then he's
year
gonna
out.
get one carry short of his personal goal. And then he's gonna start acting like Antonio Brown.
No, he doesn't act like Antonio Brown. His was all about money. His was all about money. You pay the dude. That's
Right.
it.
Running
And I don't
backs,
like what he said about the Jets either.
Well,
That's fine.
He's,
Jerk.
the Jets were terrible back then. And I
You
probably
took it
would've done the
personally,
same
yo.
thing.
I did take it personally.
Right.
From
Wow.
day one, as soon as he said that, it turned you off, and
Yeah.
you haven't been turned on ever since.
Right.
You're like, nah, man, I don't want him. I don't want him.
It's the organization, man.
Right.
If I'm a player and I'm
I
a player
get
of his caliber, would I want to play for the Jets? No.
And he mentioned
You
the
know.
Colts, and the Colts right now. I don't
Right
know what the
now-
score is.
I bet you would say different than me about the Colts right now.
Now I'm mad at you.
Well, I'm just saying.
Nah,
Just saying.
but let's not. I hear you. How old is he going to be first game of the season in September? 27 or 26, LaDavion? You know?
Well, one or the other. But
First of all, who's LaDavion?
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's a mix of Davion and Le'Veon Bell.
Oh my gosh, that was
it's
hilarious.
Latrellion.
Who's LaDavion?
That's almost as bad as your Darno.
Darno. French for 32 years in the league.
Yeah, exactly. You know, playing at that Pro Bowl level every year, right?
Right. That was funny.
But yes, I do agree. We need either two edges or an end and an edge. And I think we could feasibly address these in free agency.
Just talk. It's all about the money, man. I just don't want to. I don't want to overpay for guys and then soak up this $100 million that we have. We can still roll over dollars until next year.
I'll put it to you this way, B. I think that Frank Clark and D Ford are better in their respective positions right now than if we were to turn the dial back a year ago when we were scouting Tremaine Johnson. I never thought he was that great.
That
that's
goes
fine.
without saying. It goes without saying. These 9 players of the 10 that are defense-oriented, line and linebackers, are far better graded than
Tremaine
Johnson was.
Yeah.
And again, there's competition amongst them, whereas with Tremaine, you know, there weren't any other free agent cornerbacks that we wanted.
So are you worried about the same thing Brian is worried about as far as paying too much? I mean, I'm always worried about paying too much, but I think it would be
it's
justifiable.
What the market would bear. It's what the market will bear.
And the market is going to bear a lot for edge rushers that are 25 or 26.
Right, it goes quarterback, it goes edge, it goes
offensive tackle.
Offensive tackle.
And cornerback
right.
and OT.
Right.
No, that's correct. And we need all of them except for the quarterback. So we're going to have to spend money somewhere.
Listen.
And I'd rather spend it on that than spend it on a receiver or another player, an offensive lineman that is not going to be worth it. Just like ergo Tremaine Johnson.
I hear you, and we don't need to worry about the receiver thing because there's nothing available in the market anyway.
Just Golden Tate, and he's going to be less than 10.
You guys like Geronimo Allison? I like this kid.
I've never heard of him.
No.
He's on Green Bay.
I mean, I don't. He hasn't shown enough for me to say, oh, I want to go get him. If it's talking about Geronimo Allison paying him 9 or Golden Tate 9, I'm paying Golden Tate 9.
Yeah,
I am too. I
am too.
He got yak.
Right.
Not the tone. Yeah, he said blah.
Blah, blah, blah.
No. I mean, Golden Tate all day, man. And I think that
I've always liked him.
Listen, I mean, I think
too.
I like where you're going. So could we? How much does that cost? So let's see.
Oh gosh, here we go. That was the calculator.
Analytics and
carry the 6.
Computation.
So D Ford, what is that? Was that 12 to 15?
You mean cap hit?
What?
On an annual?
Oh,
I mean, I don't know.
He's gonna get more than that.
On
He
an
gotta go
annual?
get 20.
He's not getting 20.
No.
I don't know. I'm not guessing that.
He's getting the signing. He's signing at like 60, right?
Yeah, but it might be a 5-year 60. So that's not.
I'm saying signing bonus.
Nah, he's not getting that much signing bonus. Okay. LaDavion might get a 40. I'm I'm talking about Le'Veon. I did it again.
Hold on.
LaDavion.
Hey, rude boy. Hold on. I think he's looking for a 40. Put it to you this way: Todd Gurley got a $40 million guarantee.
He's looking for Gurley money,
and that's guaranteed. And I don't know how much that signing bonus was. It was less than that because they you'll have maybe guaranteed 20 this year and then maybe a 10 next year. But either way, it's guaranteed. But his
he's making
$40
$9 million this year. This D Ford guy.
All right, so then he might get bumped up to 14, 15 maybe, right?
15.
All right. I'll take that. How many sacks did he have? Give me those double-digit sacks. We have nobody getting these sacks, man.
No, I'm with you. But, I mean, so you're talking about – so let's count it up. So 15 – let's say – so they were talking about franchise tag for 4 to 17. If they franchise him, probably won't. All right, so you got 15 him. Let's say Frank Clark is probably going to go for 12.
Okay.
That's 27.
All right.
Got to pay Golden Tate like 9.
Okay.
So you got 36. And you got Le'Veon Bell, who you don't want, but I do. And so what do you say?
45. Why don't you add another you talking about guaranteed or you talking about
Annual.
Annual. What's that? That's going to be like that 17 range, 17, 18 range.
That was Gurley money?
I think so.
All right, so
I
then
can't confirm, but I think so.
So that's 53.
And then we have to sign our draft.
Still got to sign our draft picks. We still got to sign other. I mean, we're still gonna be rolling in it.
We rolling.
Still rolling.
And we're still gonna have leftovers for the next year.
Yeah, because you roll that over.
Yeah. Get that D end. Get that edge. Find LaDavion, you jerk. You know? And then I'm sorry. And then nah, man, he insulted my Jets, man. I'm too sensitive. I can't. I gotta relax. You know. And then yeah, man. I don't know. All right. Anyway, so yeah, I think it could work. That's basically what I'm saying.
It could. I mean,
And then if we trade down, like I said, it would be a coup. Come on, McCagnon. Let's go. I'm like, we're
he should have
trusting
been
you.
gone. But I mean, I'm stating the obvious. At this point.
Anyway. All right. So hey, listen. We just thoroughly unpacked that. Let's talk about Antonio Brown. What if
No.
Whoa, I didn't even ask the question yet. I love it.
No.
So what am I gonna say, Kerry, and answer your own?
No. I don't want that in my locker room. I don't want it.
He's a Hall of Famer.
I understand he's a Hall of Famer. Sometimes, having a Hall of Famer in your locker room at the wrong time doesn't work for you.
True.
So then, Brian, do
Should've.
you want him?
No, I don't.
Guess
No.
what? It's a hat trick. I don't want him either. Can you believe that? Team
Next subject,
BKBK doesn't.
Finally agreed on something.
Yeah. Sitting here,
Keep it pushing.
Yeah, I mean, you got the young quarterback out there. I mean,
Yeah,
Darnold's
I
not
don't
like
need-
Baker Mayfield,
No.
with the attitude that'll
He's
give it right
not.
back to him.
No.
So I just don't think it's the right
No
time
attention.
Yeah.
for that person in our locker room.
Not at
I think
all.
Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown are two different things. Antonio has the money, and he's still acting like how he's acting right
Yeah,
now.
you're right.
So I think Le'Veon is like, listen, just cut me a check, let's go ball. And Antonio is the exact opposite, man. He's just, at this point, it looks a little childish. you know?
Antonio or Odell
I take Odell.
over Antonio. huh?
Absolutely. I take
Wow.
Odell. Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice, nice.
I would.
Check
Kerry,
out
Kerry's
Ke-
pondering.
pondering. That's that ponder face. I'm on
Look
it.
at the
Check it
ponder.
out.
Look at the ponder. I take him. He balls out on the field, which Antonio does too.
Yeah.
His off the field stuff, it's just different. It's
Mhm.
not, like arguing with teammates and stuff like that
He's
over.
arguing with the kicking net.
and getting banged out by it.
With that- I mean, that's
Oh, hit me in the
that's
forehead.
stupid.
Oh,
boy.
hit me in the forehead.
Boy.
Oh, hit me in the forehead.
He's younger too,
Yes.
so if we're talking about as far as the overall package that that he's bringing to the table, he's got youth on his side. So I would
I
would deal with his antics.
Yeah.
I would deal with it.
But the issue is that we see him close up all the time, constantly.
In the New York market.
right
Yeah.
in the New York market, and we don't see Antonio Brown as often, and we don't want him.
Yeah.
I've
that's
seen
true.
this guy, and I don't want him. I see this guy all the time, all over the place. And I don't want him. I don't want to be bothered. I talk to Jet fans often, a lot more so than I talk to Giant fans. I mean, the Jet fans, and they're just tired of the act.
Wow.
They're tired of the
Yeah,
act.
yeah. I mean, listen. I mean, so much so. I know on this show I've said it. Like, if Robbie Anderson doesn't come back, I'm okay with it. But I'm just looking at the dearth of talent out there in free agent land. Maybe I do really want him back, but it's
Got it.
because the whole locker room thing, and he's been kind of not even just the locker room. What'd you say? You said that he's banned from going to Florida. Robbie
Yeah,
Anderson.
he should never.
He should be
never-
banned from any
Right.
concerts in Florida. Just don't go across the state line.
No.
Right.
This off season right now, like he's on Robbie Anderson watch right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just just stay in your crib, yo. Play the crib like it's Mayweather.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like just chill out, man.
Yeah.
There's no reason to be going out there and doing crazy things.
Right.
You're a restricted free agent right now. You guys are thinking we can take him or leave him. I think we have to take him.
I think we have to take him
we
too.
we can't afford to lose somebody that is somewhat talented. Think about what Sam Darnold was throwing to. A Nunwa injury prone. Robbie Anderson couldn't stay on the field. You know what I mean? Javon Curse, I mean, he's gone, right? So
Yeah.
he's not even the availability that he brings to the table gone. So who else is going to be catching balls from this guy unless we bring in somebody that's going to be able to do it? And that's one of the reasons, again, in the first round, I can't go defense. I can't even wrap my brain around that,
I know.
A, right? And then B, I think that we need somebody that's going to be able to be reliable and catch the ball and that can take it to the house. Because we have to, even when we scored, it was a long drive. Robbie Anderson caught a couple during the year, but
Yeah.
besides that, it was a long drive. We had to run the ball, blah, 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 blah,
Playing
blah.
catch up eats up too much clock, and then we have no ability or chance to
No.
win the ball game.
But what I would say is that we need to solve the problem, and this is probably our number one problem.
What is
so
it?
I'm almost contradicting myself, but not really. Is pressure on the quarterback from the defensive side of the ball. If you look at the last 2 years, the reason why we have more losses than wins is because we couldn't get the opposing team off of the field.
Right.
Third downs and fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So we can manufacture a pass rush in the first 3 quarters, but we couldn't do it when it really mattered. So we need to solve that. I just don't want to do it with my first round pick.
Same here. And the thing is, it allows your complementary players to truly complement the
Right.
really good ones. So you have Anderson. You have the big cat, who is, I wouldn't designate him as a complimentary player.
He is.
I would designate him as a very good player, but he does need the complement of a high-end edge or defensive end pass rusher. Because let's just say if we have D Ford, let's just say that we have DeMarcus Lawrence or something like that, and these guys are getting their 14 sacks. I think the big cat can get 9.
Sure.
You know?
Sure,
9
absolutely.
sacks,
Absolutely.
maybe even 10. You know? And that's that overall production, because he's also very good against the run too, though. But he's just not a flashy player, and we thought of him as a more flashy player, and we're just not getting that.
That's why I wanted to bring us next. But
Yeah, I
don't-
want to bring him in too. I agree
don't
with
care
you.
about Flash. I just need production. You know,
I mean,
just
Flash is
need
part of that production, though. But yeah, I hear you.
But when is the draft in relation to when the free agency period opens?
free agency is always first.
Yeah, and that's in March. Well, I don't want to say March 9th, but it's in the second week of March. And then the draft is in April, the latter part of April.
So
Yeah.
basically, we'll know what they want to do with the pick.
Yes.
Probably by the middle
Yeah.
to third.
Because we would have thoroughly
week,
exhausted the free agent process and have gotten the skeleton of what we really wanted to do, and then we can address it, you know, via the draft, everything else that's needed to the best that we can.
Draft
So,
is April 25th through the 27th.
nice.
Right,
And when does
and-
free agency start?
I'll tell you.
Free agency start March 9th. Sorry. The greatest free agency of all time started on March 9th.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to infuse Biggie.
What are
Go
you
New
talking
York.
about,
I'm trying to
Willis?
infuse Biggie into it.
So March 5th is the deadline for clubs to designate franchise or transition.
Uh-huh.
March 11th through the 13th, clubs are permitted to contact and enter the contract negotiations with certified agents
Mm.
of players who will be unrestricted free agents.
Mm.
All right. All right. All
We'll
right.
know
So-
fairly soon.
I think it will all fall into place as far as what the plan is as soon as a week after, 2 weeks after free agency
Yeah.
opens.
Yeah.
Totally. But again, do we know when Jacksonville and the Giants pick
I'll tell you in a
again?
second.
Sorry.
And then in this gap of time now, you know what's going to be grabbing our attention? It's going to be the combine and pro days and all that good stuff, so that we can
Sure.
really, really make a hard line determination of really what we want and who we want for those positions.
Giants
I'm
draft
not so big on
6th
the combine. Yeah.
and Jaguars 7.
Oh,
Wow.
that is so.
That's
great.
called leverage,
That
right?
so
Isn't it?
great. Oh, well, this guy says he wants to, and this guy says. So, what do you think? And what do you think?
All
Yeah,
right,
well,
well,
You got the Broncos at 10 too. So you got the Broncos at 10 who need a
Uh-huh.
quarterback as well.
Uh-huh.
Let's be clear there. So they're another factor in it. Because what are they going to give to go from 10 to 3?
that's a lot of
That's
cheddar.
a lot of draft
Yeah,
capital.
That's
It
a
is.
great and I love the 10th pick too. I would love the 10th pick. I would love to stay there
I
and
love
get
that
and
six.
take anything that they have,
Right.
all of it, like
Yeah.
all of it.
I would totally, because you're gonna get more if they draft, if they make a deal with us coming all the way from 10. They're gonna give us like 19 second round
Love
picks
it.
in a row.
Because I think with our pick is more reasonable in terms of what they would have to give up. To leapfrog to 1 or 2,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have to give up the kitchen sink
Yes,
to
yes,
do that.
yes. And Denver would have to give up the kitchen sink. So
Oh my
let's just hope
gosh.
that they are really sour on Case Keenum and really want to just, hit the reset button on their franchise as far as a QB is concerned.
Oh, they have to be. I mean, because they're not happy where they are right now. They fired the coach, Vance Joseph, which I don't think they should have done personally, but that's me. We can get into the African-American coaches losing their jobs at another point as well. But yeah, I think that Denver has got to be looking for a quarterback.
And you're not trying to trade out of that Nick Bosa pick. You're not trading out of that Nick Bosa pick.
No, you're not. All right. Well, hey, guys, another great show, great conversation. It's, just speaking just real quick on the African-American coach, let's get Brian Shaw in here out of Stanford. I would totally entertain him. I like him a lot. A smart guy, offensive-minded guy, and a great coach. And he didn't just he's not just leaning on what Harbaugh left for him. He's created his own culture and done his thing at Stanford.
Sure.
But, yeah, guys, so, hey, listen. Thanks for watching another episode of the BKBK Podcast. We want to be able to keep bringing you the latest news and viewpoints of where sports and the culture collide and the New York Jets reign supreme. So keep watching. You can find us on Facebook on our BKBK Podcast fan page, Twitter on @BKBK Podcast, Instagram @BKBK Podcast, as well as on YouTube. Just type in BKBK Podcast, hit the like and the subscription button to show the love. And if you cannot watch us, you can also listen to us on iTunes. Go to bkbkpodcast.podomatic.com. That's it. Let's go Jets. Let's go Baldwin Bruins, baby.
Baldwin Bruins.
Yeah.
And let's go Team BKBK into the new year. Team BKBK 2019, baby. Let's go. Woo!
That's right. We out.
That's right.